All right, ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Monday. What's going on? Appreciate you all tuning in. Of course, as always, I'm Chris Phillips, your host of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. We got a lot to get into here on this Monday. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. I see John Edward, Travis Allen, Travie, Luke RJ, Brennan M, Gamecocks fan 67. What's going on, guys? You guys are tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Appreciate y'all. Again, I hope you had a great weekend. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week, and we've got a lot to get into here on this Monday. Of course, as always, we're taking your questions, comments, calls at 843-790-3377. You can also text that number. Great podcast did drop this morning. Great podcast dropped this morning as well. I see Cody Gaskins, Connor McCormish. Cody, hotty toddy, my man. Hotty toddy Connor. Yep, Ole Miss gets the job done. They win the College World Series. Crazy. Baseball's a crazy game, man. Last one in, last one standing. Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? It's just, you never know. It's all about who gets hot at the right time. It's all about who gets hot at the right time. We could talk about that. We can talk much more. Obviously, another big recruiting weekend for Shane Beamer and company. A couple welcome homes rolling through. We can discuss that. Also, a commitment yesterday with CJ Adams. Excited to dive into everything. Guys, before we do, though, of course, as always, the Daily Crows brought to you by our friends over at Carolina Ale House. Guys, Carolina Ale House, they've got 7 locations across the state. They've got a scratch-made kitchen with over 40 beers on tap that can quench anyone's thirst. Of course, they got a full bar, guys. If you go in there thirsty, I promise you they will quench it. They've got over 60 HD TVs, so there's not a bad seat in the house. Great place to go watch sports. Doesn't have to be Gamecocks. Whatever you want to go tune into, they've got it. They're open 7 days a week and late night with a full menu, and they're kid and family friendly. So be sure, guys, you bring out the family. And that includes for our watch parties as well. That includes for our TSUS tour. It is a family-friendly atmosphere. So we'd love to have you all out there. Let's go ahead and jump to the phone lines.
From
Justin, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
Hey, Chris, I feel good today, man. I feel good. I got Ole Miss beat Oklahoma yesterday in College World Series. It was amazing.
Yeah, Ole Miss get it done, man. It's crazy. It's just, I mean, again, baseball is all about end of the season. Who gets hot at the right time? You know, I still look back at the season, and I probably sit here and say that Tennessee was the best team, top to bottom, just overall. But Ole Miss got hot. I mean, you knew they were capable of it because they were ranked number 1 at one point, and they played good baseball. But it's just crazy to think a team that at one point was 7-14 in SEC play, you know, eliminated in the first round of the SEC tournament, and here they are. You know, it's wild, man. The SEC West is incredible. The SEC as a whole, best college baseball conference out there. I don't care what anybody tells you, best conference in general. But, yeah, Ole Miss getting it done, man. Just crazy.
Oh, yeah. And crazy. The thing about Ole Miss, I can't beat those guys out 2 out of 3, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, listen, it's wild to think South going to beat them. I mean, it's nuts. But again, Ole Miss, the team that just won the national title, that was not the same team South going to play. The Rebels got hot. The Rebs are hot. They were hot. Now they're national champions. So, I mean, again, it just goes to show you, man, baseball's a funny game. It's a crazy game, and anybody can beat anybody. So it's just all about who gets hot at the end, and that was Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah. And the thing about because that about the SC baseball, it's hard for now because you have like three SC teams, 3 straight national championships, you know, in baseball.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean the SEC just dominates, dude. Everybody said it was a quote unquote down year for the league, and we all see how that went. So.
Oh yeah, Chris, the thing about the SC baseball, it was not much back then, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure, man, for sure. So hopefully we get there soon. I think we all feel similarly on counter baseball at this point and what's going down and what needs to happen. But, yep, so wild watching Ole Miss win the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, I agree, Chris. And Chris, before I go, man, I'm impressed with St. Peter's crew class, man. It's growing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the positive momentum is continuing, and I think a lot of fans, unfortunately, you know, listen, they lost sight of that because of what Clemson's doing, and I get it, and I talked about it on the podcast today, and I mean, that's the elephant in the room, right? That's what nobody wants to talk about, but South Carolina needs to worry about what South Carolina can control. They need to worry about what's going on in their building, and I know Shane Beamer and company are doing that, but I know fans, and listen, I'm fortunate in the sense of, like, I don't have to interact with Clemson slapdicks on a daily basis. I don't go to an office. I don't have Clemson friends. I don't interact with Clemson people. I don't have to hear about it from them. But I know there's Gamecock fans that do, and they've got to hear about, Clemson pulled in this 4-star and that 4-star. And if Clemson's program is trending downward, it's not going to be something. I mean, guys, listen, a 10-win season is not going to crumble their quote-unquote dynasty. It's not going to crumble their program. Clemson's still a brand. They're still viewed in a very positive light. They're going to keep recruiting. Carolina just needs to control what they can control, which is bringing in the 25 or so best possible players they can in a recruiting class and just trusting that Shane Beamer is going to get the guys they need to be successful. And if you do that, you get the best possible players. Beating Clemson and taking care of them, winning in-state, that's going to take care of itself. You know what I mean? I think you're just going to drive yourself batty concerning yourself with what's going on in the upstate. What they've got going on doesn't impact and change the positive momentum that Carolina has. And the Gamecocks have plenty of it. Right? They have plenty of it. So I would just say be patient. If you're bragging about recruiting rankings in June, you lead a sad and pathetic life. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I don't care how good your class is. If you're out here pumping, beating your chest about recruiting rankings in June, you're a slapdick. There's just no other way to put it. And that's 97% of Clemson Twitter right now. So I would just say to Gamecock fans, take a deep breath, relax. Trust that Shane Beamer and company, they're going to pull in the class that we need. It's year 2. It's still very early. Just trust that those guys are going to pull in the class we need to be successful. I think if you're able to do that, we'll look at December when these guys all sign. You also factor in the transfer portal. I think we'll be all right. So it's going to take time, but I trust in Beamer.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. And the thing about my Clemson, because I got a couple of Clemson fans, but I got to take care of my own business,
Yeah, but you got to take care of your own business. Take care of your own business in-house. It'll take care of itself. It'll just take care of itself. I mean, listen, recruiting's the name of the game. I'm not sitting here telling you that if 5 years from now we're if you're finishing outside of the top 25 in recruiting, then you can panic. But, dude, it's June, man. I think we'll be fine. I think this is another class that'll be probably ranked somewhere between 20th and 25th, which early on in Beamer's tenure is okay. I'm fine with it. Slowly but surely, we got to elevate the recruiting, right? Because it's just going to be hard for the 20th best class to beat the 5th best. But the game's not played on paper. The star rating's not a perfect system. You got to trust in Beamer and his coaching staff that, again, they're going out, identifying the best possible talent, bringing those guys in, developing them, and putting a product on the field that can at some point, whether it be this year, next year, 5 years from now, compete with and beat not just the team from the upstate, but everybody you play, right? So, I would just say don't concern yourself with what the rival's doing. Hey, listen, they're not going to go away. It's fine. And we don't want them to come down to our level. We want to go up to their level, all right? We don't want that. We want to go up to their level and beat them.
Chris.
So.
Oh, yeah. And Chris, the thing about this is, listen, we know Chris is going to go quit every year. And listen, we got to take care of our business. And we got to go out there and find who's available,
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Chris, that's all we got to do, man.
Yeah, Justin, I appreciate the call, my guy, for real. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good day, my brother.
Yeah, man, take care. Great stuff. By the way, guys, real quick, Gamecocks make top 3 for this Chandavian Bradley kid. He just dropped this. He actually dropped it. I don't know how I missed this. He dropped this 30 minutes ago, and I somehow missed it. Chandavian Bradley. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Chandavian Bradley, a 5-star defensive end, edge, 5-star edge player out of Missouri. Anyways, guys. Sorry, we're just getting this out on social media. 25-star. Chandavian. Why do I keep putting Bradley? It's Bradley. Chandavian Bradley. That'd be big. It's South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. Those are the final 3. So that'd be big. Be very big. Sir Cox says he's a Tennessee lock as of now. Well, I don't know, Sir Cock. We're in the top 3, so we'll see what happens. Maybe Beamer can work his magic. Again, guys, 843-790-3377. Jeremy Gauntz, what's going on, man? I see you. Brian Dean, Dre, Rhett. What's up? Dre, I don't know why the notifications haven't been coming through, my guy. I would just make sure you got them cut on. Maybe undo it and redo it, and maybe you'll get the notifications. I have no idea. Also, guys, if you are in the Big Cock Club Discord, over the TDC Questions channel, be sure your questions are answered there. A big topic of conversation today, since we're talking about this Chandavian Bradley kid, and one of his top 3 is Texas A&M. A big topic of conversation today, because of what happened over the weekend, has been NIL. And I think most of us have seen the Miami kid, the 4-star quarterback that apparently is getting like $9 million from Miami. And it sounds like the Gator Collective, they offered him $11 million. And we've seen the Tennessee quarterback that's getting $8 million. And we just saw Archie Manning commit to Texas, and God knows what he's getting. Let me just say this on NIL. Because not just Gamecock fans, right? Fans of all schools, look at these deals that are happening and just say, oh my God, how can we compete? We can't pay those type of money numbers for these players. It's going to ruin college football. We can't compete. Guys, we shouldn't compete. I know we all want to have a good football team. We all want to have a great football program, right? I'm sorry, though. You're an idiot. I mean, you are clinically insane if you think paying $8, $9, $10, $11 million for a high school prospect is a good idea. I don't question the kids when it comes to NIL. Bro, take the money. Get your money, right? I'm not in favor of choosing a school solely for a paycheck. But, I mean, if you're down to Miami in Florida, or you're down to A&M in South Carolina, and you like them both equally, but A&M's willing to give you $10 million, well, I mean, you'd be kind of an idiot not to go, right? But in that scenario, guys, let's just take this Chandavian Bradley kid, for example. And I'm just using him as an example. Let's take Chris Phillips as a 5-star defensive end. God forbid. If I was a 5-star defensive end and I'm between A&M and Carolina, right? And A&M offers me $10 million. Should South Carolina match that to get the kid? If the kid says, hey, if you give me 11, I'll go to Carolina. Absolutely fucking not. Bro, you're a clown if you're paying that kind of money for a high school prospect. I think South Carolina would be stupid. I think we're better off keeping our money in our pocket. Guys, if you need a $30 million salary cap to win football games, like what Texas A&M did with their recruiting class, cool. You got the greatest class in school history. You got the greatest class ever in college recruiting. That's awesome. That's great. Hang the banner, right? If you need a $30 million salary cap to win football games, you're not a very good coach. You're not a very good evaluator of talent. You're not a very good developer. If you need a $30 million salary cap, again, I don't look at the kids cross. The kids should get the money. Take advantage of a broken system. I'm all for it. Dude, what are the adults in the room doing with NIL? What are they doing? What are the adults in the room doing? Who are these maniacs that are giving unproven 17-year-olds $10 million? You know what this is like? This is like when people win the lottery. I just feel like, who is managing the money for these kids? Who is managing the money? It's going to be like folks when they win the lottery and they go broke like 3 years later because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They get into money, they have no clue. Again, I don't look at the players cross. I look at the adults. I look at the business owners. Guys, listen. Let's just say TSUS is bringing in $100 million a year. Hey, maybe one day, right? Let's just say we were bringing in $100 million a year. Even at that, bro, I'm not giving a high school prospect $10 million. I'm not doing it. I want to be good in football. I want us to be elite in football. I would love nothing more. But if my head coach needs that type of bankroll to get players, and he has to get that specific player, He ain't the right coach. I'm sorry, he's not the right coach. I know the game has changed, but I've had these conversations with Brad Lawing. He's talked about kids that are attention seeking on social media, right? These kids that are drama, and they're the kids that don't normally pan out. So I look at these kids, and I know, the bag has always been a thing, but these kids that are forcing the hand of NIL, and again, I don't blame them for taking the money, but I'll pass. I'll pass on it. I just, there are so many good players out there. There are so many. You know what? And Chase Floyd says, that's the way it's going. Money talks. Let it talk, Chase. We will not be playing that game. I don't think we should be playing that game, Chase. We should not drive ourselves bankrupt to try to keep up. Like, bro, imagine how stupid, Chase and everyone, can you imagine how stupid Texas A&M is going to look if they go 8-4 this year? How dumb are they going to look? I will take my chances letting Shane Beamer and his staff go recruit. I will take my chances. I mean, Chase, nothing has changed. That's the funny thing about NIL. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. I don't think anything has changed. I just think the numbers are in your face and they're more ridiculous because it's legal. But nothing's changed. I mean, teams have been throwing the bag forever, bro. Let's not pretend like the bag hadn't been a thing forever. You know what I mean? Like, it's always been a thing. But Chase and other people, because he says, what do we do in the long run? And I know a lot of, I just see Chase commenting. I'm not trying to single out Chase Floyd here. But so many ask, how do we survive in the long run? Bro, you just keep recruiting and developing and evaluating. I mean, you just keep doing what you've been doing. I just think, bro, shelling out, and maybe it's because believe it or not, I have a life outside of South Carolina football where this win by any means necessary thing. It to me is insanity. It's crazy. It's wild that, hey, if you got it, throw it. Cool. You got it, throw it. I just think there's going to be a lot of bad business deals made, man. I mean, you're paying $9 million for a 4-star quarterback? All due respect, guys, imagine if we paid $9 million to get Luke Doty on campus. How would y'all feel about that investment right now? How is this going to impact players when that $9 million player goes out and plays like dog shit? Well, what are fans going to do then? Is it still going to be, well, they're just kids, they're amateurs? No, they're not. They're pros. They're professionals. They are professionals. Straight up. I mean, you want to pay them like a pro, let's treat them like a pro. Fans are going to be even more ruthless. Because now it's like, well, you're getting paid and you're not performing? This ain't what we signed up for. We're not getting the return on our investment. So I think NIL's crazy. I think you're a fucking idiot if you pay a kid $9 million to come to your school. Like, I almost don't even want to name kids because I don't want to put their name out there with associate. But if we're recruiting a quarterback, a 4-star quarterback, and let's say Tennessee wants to give him $9 million, I tell you, Tennessee, you can have his ass. You can have him. If you want him that bad, you can have him. We'll take our chances with the other guy. You can have his ass. Straight up. I think it's crazy. I think it is crazy. Let me ask you this. How does that dynamic go down in the locker room? When one guy on your team's getting $9 million and you got some players that ain't getting shit. How does that work out? You know what I'm saying? I think NIL, I almost think NIL will work itself out because people are going to realize how stupid this is. They're going to realize how bad of an investment this is. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, 843-790-3377. If y'all think I'm crazy and you think, Carolina, we got to shell it out, by all means.
Phil Harris.
I think it's nuts. Phil, what's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good. How you doing, my brother?
Bro, I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
I just wanted to send some good news out into the Gamecock world. I know that Shane Beamer's killing it in recruiting. I just wanted to let you know that Coach John Roberts for the men's rugby team is also killing it. We've got 4 additional commitments just in the past couple of days. All these kids are, coming from high schools that have rugby programs, whether it be a club sport or within the actual high school. So experience coming in. I think we've got close to 20 kids in total for the class of 2022. They only let 15 play on the field at one time, Chris. So, I mean, I've never heard anything like this in terms of a recruiting class for Carolina rugby. It's never existed before to get 20 brand new kids that have rugby experience at the high school level to come to play at Carolina. I don't want to let everybody know, like, keep your eyes open for Carolina rugby because we're going to be unstoppable over the next couple of years.
I love that, man. And you know what? I'm not even going to say I'm surprised. John Roberts is a legend. So I'm happy to hear that, man, for sure. Club sports continue to just carry us, man.
Absolutely. It does, for sure. So I just wanted to let everybody know on a personal note, I'm running for vice chair, part of the board of trustees for Carolina Rugby. I've been on the board since, I want to say, mid-year last year. I came in as a acting role for one of the positions, but now I'm running for vice chair. Just want everybody to know about that. And, go Cox.
I love it, Phil. I'm proud of you, my guy. Love to hear that.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, man. Later. Great stuff. Great stuff. Love to hear that good news from Phil. A lot of top lists are coming out. Gamecocks made top 4 for Jaden Robinson, 2023 4-star linebacker. Of course, guys, I was out of town this weekend, so I feel like I missed a couple of these lists. I missed a couple of these lists. I was not quite as attached to my phone over the weekend as normal, so I appreciate y'all being cool with that. Appreciate y'all. We had a great time, dude. Atlanta was incredible. I went to a concert and just really, really enjoyed myself. So I appreciate y'all, man. Hope y'all had a great weekend as well. Brandon Wagner says, what if the walk-on or 2-star ends up being better than the $1 Million Man? Puts the coach in a tough position. Yeah, I mean, and listen, Brandon, I mean, Jimmy's and Joe's, right? Jimmy's and Joe's. But I think NIL will work itself out, at least for the adults, because the adults are going to look at themselves and say, what are we doing? Why are we giving these kids $9 million? You're telling I know it's about throwing the bag. How can you be hungry when you got $10 million in the bank? Like, as a college kid, professional's different, right? That's your livelihood. Bro, these kids are set. This Miami dude, he's set. He didn't even got to go to the league. What's the motivation to get to the league? I think it's crazy, bro. Like, I think it's crazy. Like, I understand everybody wants – college fans are nuts. I get it. And that's what makes college sports beautiful, because the fans are crazy. They're nuts. There's no other way to put it. We're nuts. But, dude, this win by any means, throw $10 million at a guy because we want to win an extra game or two. That shit is stupid, dude. That shit is so stupid. So stupid. So stupid. And, I mean, dude – How does this change? You know what I was worried about? Call me crazy. How does this change the dynamic of them just walking around campus? Do you worry about, let me ask you this. I mean, nobody wants to talk about this. Do you worry about a kid's safety? His personal security, his safety. Walking around campus, he's going to do college kid things, right? I would imagine. Going out and shit. Like, there's crazy people in the world. How do you assure these kids safety? 18-year-old with $10 million, you don't think people are going to try to get them to do stupid stuff and invest in dumb things, or just harm them to get their money? I mean, I worry about that. Here we go. Cocky Twan says, let me highlight these comments. My bad. Cocky Twan says, we will continue to be 3-star U if we don't open the checkbooks. Cocky Twan, I would rather be 3-star U than make bad business decisions on a consistent basis. I'll just tell you that right now. I'd rather roll the dice and take my chances and sign the 25th best class and develop kids. Again, if you need a $30 million payroll to win football games, you need a $30 million payroll to bring in top talent, to go from 7 wins a year to 9 wins a year, then you're not a very good coach. You're not a good coach. Anybody can go buy a good roster. Anybody can do that. And again, I think if you need it, you're just not a very good coach. You're not a very good coach. So I'm not into making bad business decisions. I'm just not into it. I'm not saying that you can't say stars don't matter, but go recruit. Listen, not every kid is about getting a $10 million check. There are, it's 0.001% of these guys that are getting that kind of money. Let the schools that are stupid enough to pay for the 0.001%, let them have them. Let them have them. Let them have them. We will go focus on and recruit the guys that aren't asking for ridiculous paydays. Like, I just, I'm more, again, I don't look at, I'm not envious of A&M. I'm not envious of Tennessee. I'm not envious of Southern Cal. I'm not envious of Texas. I'm not envious of schools that are making bad business decisions. They are. There's no other way to put it, guys. There's no other way to put it. The odds that Texas A&M gets the return on the investment of that $30 million recruiting class, the odds they see the ROI they're hoping for is very low, in my opinion. It's very low. Because you still got to be able to coach. You still got to be able to produce. You still got to be able to go win. At the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. I know it's Jimmy's and Joe's, but the odds that they get the return on their investment is low. I think it's bad business deals across the board. So, Shane Beamer and company, listen, we're going to throw the bag either way behind the scenes, but $8, $9, $10, $11 million, you can have that. You can have it. You can have it. You can have it. Age of Hours says, if you want to pay all the top guys to come play your program, just try and make your team better and job easier, then you're just an average coach who gets carried. Panic Ritter, Ray Tanner's on radio today. I didn't know that. Joey Guyton, second welcome home from Sunday, announcement at 2:30 today. Any guesses? Joey, I'm curious, where did you see that? I haven't seen that there was an announcement at 2:30. Who is announcing at 2:30? And who said that anybody is announcing at 2:30? Andrew Horrell says NIL needs to be capped out in order for recruiting to be somewhat fair to make games very interesting. See, here's the thing, Andrew, though. Like, I'll flip it on you. I'm a business owner. How are you going to tell me how much I can give a kid? The NCAA ain't got nothing to do with me. How are you going to tell me how much I can give a kid? If I want to give a kid $10 million, you ain't got no right to tell me how much I can give him. I think NIL is going to play itself out. I don't think the NCAA's got to do anything, which they're pretty good at that. They're good at doing nothing. Hey, don't limit the kids. The kids want the money, take it. But there's just going to be a lot of bad business deals made. And when people start realizing their ROI is not there, they'll stop paying that money. And you know what? If they don't, then that's on them. I mean, again, if you got $10 million to blow on a recruit, then more power to you. More power to you. But I don't think the correct response is I look at Ken and Cindy Long, or I look at Darla Moore, or I look at what's his name? Is it Joe Rice? I think is another one of our big money guys. I don't look at them and say, well, where y'all at? Why aren't you shelling out the millions? I think they're smart for not doing that. I wouldn't do that. What? No thanks. Sorry, Coach Beamer. If you can't win with the money I'm already giving you, if you need 10 mil of mine to win, well, I'd rather pay 10 mil, get a new coach. Because you ain't the guy. You ain't the guy. You shouldn't need 10 million for one guy. It's one player. It's one player. It's one player. one player ain't going to win a national title, man. And again, if you need a $30 million payroll, to win games, you're not a good coach to me. Here, let's jump the phone lines here.
From
Robbie Davis, a.k.a. Kirk Herbstreit.
to accept.
Robbie, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Did you enjoy the concert Saturday?
Oh, it was a blast, man. It was a blast for sure. It was a great weekend to kind of detach a little bit and recharge the batteries. And, I feel great today, man.
Relax,
so, yeah, we had a blast. Yeah, we had a blast.
Okay. I want to throw out a scenario, okay? All right?
Go ahead.
Say we do, okay? Say we do. If I was to give a recruit, right? Say I had a crud ton of money, more money than I knew what to do with, and I offered a recruit $10,000 to come to South Carolina, right? Okay.
$10,000? 10,000?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
10,000. Robbie, people are getting 10 million, man.
Or no. Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
I'm
just giving you crap. Continue with the example.
But you know what I mean, right? If I give him that amount of money, right, or any amount of money, right, that I have on me, okay, and yet he's playing like straight dog doo-doo, okay, I'm going to be sitting there thinking to myself, maybe giving this kid this money was a bad idea. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, yeah.
And I agree with you. It'll work. This whole NIL crap will eventually, hopefully, fix itself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying there still shouldn't be some sort of regulations in place, but I don't know how much, like, you've already opened Pandora's box. Like, there's really no going back.
Right.
There's no going back. Right. So I look at it from the business scope, and I see these numbers flying around and how much kids are getting. And I don't question the kids, because any human being, I mean, you'd just be crazy not to take the money that these kids are getting offered. But there's a misconception that it's every player. Dude, it is a very small percentage. Most guys aren't seeing hardly anything. Most guys aren't seeing hardly anything.
Right.
And like I said, if you're willing to pay a high school prospect $10 million, be my guest. We don't want him. I don't believe in making bad business deals, man. Be my guest. You go do that. If it pays off for you, great. If it pays off for you, great. And if A&M wins a national title this year, then maybe my mind will change. And I'll be like, well, you know what? Actually, I guess it was worth it. But I don't think we should go broke. I don't think you should. I don't think a smart method of operation is, well, let's go broke trying to keep up. I just don't think so. I don't think it's worth sacrificing everything else. You know what I mean? Let's just have a good football team.
There's obviously a smart way to do things.
Bro, this is going to probably ruffle some feathers, but I'm content going 8-4 or 9-3 every year and doing it the way we've always done it versus paying $30 million just to try to go win 12 or 13 games, win an SEC championship. I mean, again, if you need a $30 million payroll to do it, I don't think you got the right coach. That's my personal opinion, so.
Right.
Anybody can go sign. Anybody can go sign guys with a $10 million deal. If you're a really good coach, you can go out and recruit and develop, put guys in best possible position. You can scheme, you can out scheme the opponent, and you can go win games. Like, you don't need $30 million to go pull in the guys you need to win. Just my opinion.
Right. And I agree with you. This whole NIL mess is getting crazy. It's insane. But I mean, like you said, they want if they want the money, go get it, doggone. And I agree with you. I truly believe it has been happening in the past, except now it's right smack dab in front of our faces, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly the part that is very irritating to people, right? So that's the part that's extremely irritating. Is it's so
it's been happening the whole
uncomfortably
time, except now it's right smack
it's
dab.
it's so uncomfortably in your face, and so. But like I said, I don't see those numbers. I don't see what Miami's paying a quarterback and look at it with envy. I don't say, God, I wish we were paying. I look at it and say, God, they're stupid. You're stupid. I think you're stupid. I think you're dumb. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy.
He hasn't even stepped on campus. He hasn't even people haven't there's players that haven't even stepped on campus yet that are making like insane money and they haven't even proved it yet.
Right.
Like if you give a dude $10 million, right? You give any skilled position, okay, $10 million to come play at your school before he even plays a down of football, and then he goes out there and makes an idiot out of himself. The person that gave him that $10 million, that $10 million looks like excuse my French, but looks like a dumbass. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right, Robbie. You are correct.
I mean, it's insane that businesses are doing this before kids even play it down. It's insane.
Yeah, I just think it's a risk that's not worth. It's not worth the risk. I mean, listen, hey, no disrespect to him. No disrespect to him. But I'm going to say it. Imagine we gave Marshawn Lloyd $9 million. Imagine we gave Jordan Burks $9 million.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'd want my money back. I would not be pleased with my investment. No knock on those guys, but it's just reality. If I'm paying you, that kind of money, sorry, folks, you're going to have to learn to get your feelings hurt because all that shit goes out the window. We're talking business. I got no room for your feelings when it comes to business and dollar signs. And
this went from being right, and this went from being just college football to an absolute 100% business situation.
Yeah, I mean,
with NIL,
you can't get upset when Big Bad Chris says your favorite player sucks when they're getting paid like a professional. Like that's
exactly.
I've learned doing what I do. The difference in the dynamic between covering a pro team and a college team, because when you're talking about pro football, and there's plenty of NFL fans tuned in, your favorite NFL team signs a player. Oh, NFL fans will say, that guy's a scrub. He sucks. Why are we paying that for him? He's terrible. This, that, whatever. I mean, they will just be very quick to trash a dude.
Yeah.
At the college level, you can't do that because, well, they're amateurs and they're kids and they're picking our school. Well, now they're not.
Yeah, now they're making a crap ton of money.
If you're getting paid, you're the Miami quarterback, you're getting paid $9 million, and you go out and throw 3 picks. I'm gonna say you're hot dog water. I'm gonna say you're garbage.
Hot dog water. Ew.
I'm gonna say you're garbage. Like, I mean, flat out. You have entered a new realm of what level of criticism you are going to be getting. Because now you're getting paid and there's ROI on the line. It's not about, feelings and school pride anymore. It's about business.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like it, don't sign up for a $9 million paycheck. You won't have that pressure. But that's the reality. You want big bucks? Right. I mean, those guys, the reason those guys in the NFL are paid the way they are, again, they're the best players in the world. But they're in the spotlight and they take the criticism. And that's it. That's why coaches get paid so much. They're in the spotlight and they take all the blame. They get the credit. They get all the blame. So, you're going to get them big bucks. You're going to get big criticism. It just comes with it. And that's the same for players too.
Yeah, and like you said about criticism, like if the entire like I said earlier, right? But imagine if, like, everyone on the team was making a crap ton of money, okay? Which obviously they're not, okay? Because every team has great players, good players, and okay players, okay? But imagine if we paid all that, if any school paid all that money, right? And they play Georgia State, okay? And Georgia State goes into, say, Alabama or Georgia and beats one of them two teams. You better be ready to take the criticism, because not only did you get your butt beat by Georgia State, okay, but the fans are going to be like, we basically paid these guys to play football here, and we just lost to Georgia State. We did not pay them the money for this to happen. Sorry, losing happens, people. Okay? Losing happens.
It does. It does. It does indeed. It does indeed. Yeah. I think NIL will work itself out, and I mean, it's the money numbers are crazy, man. Robbie, I appreciate you calling in. Always a pleasure to chat with you. Hall of Famer. Appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Yeah, like I said, guys, it's just, I think it's simple. I think South Carolina needs to just continue what they're doing, and you go recruit guys and you go court guys, and I mean, it's NIL stuff. I mean, listen. I mean, hey, you. What's the best way to put this? You know, you want the best within reason. You want the best within reason, man. Let's say you're in the dating world. You go on a date with a girl, you go on a date with a dude, or what have you, and they're like, I only date guys who drive Maseratis. I only date guys. If you don't have a Porsche, I'm not going on a second date. Well, you don't go bankrupt trying to get a Porsche. Right? I mean, you just say, okay, cut you off, keep it moving. You don't compromise your whole life for this one person. There's 7 billion people in the world. Just like recruiting, there are plenty of prospects out there who have reasonable expectations and reasonable demands. You ain't got to compromise your livelihood. You don't have to compromise your values and you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. I mean, listen, I do think, right, and I've told people this before, like, you love your school more than the players do. And that's not to say, like, there aren't guys on that roster that bleed garnet and black, whatever. We'll jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Phil Harris.
Here we go. Phil, twice in one day, my guy. I love it. What's going on?
Yeah, we're back to the old days, twice in one day.
I love
That's
that.
right.
I love that.
The NIL deal talk. When this thing first happened, I was like, okay, some star players that have their damn, names on the back of these jerseys the schools are selling, where they didn't get any money whatsoever. If you want to cut them in on the deal, sounds good to me. Kind of makes sense, Give a little bit of pocket change to walk around on campus, buy themselves some, some Starbucks or whatever. I understand. I'm not a fool, right? I know that the biggest and best players, when they're recruited, back in the day, they were getting a little something on the side to come to the school. How about my mom drives around in a Mercedes-Benz the entire time that I'm my 4 years at college or my 3 years or whatever. No big deal, whatever. I would rather not see that than this bullshit about schools paying, $10 million for a player or having $30 million payroll for players. What the fuck happened to amateurs? Like, what about a scholarship and a smile and say, hey, here's your opportunity, kid. You get a degree at the end of this as long as you keep your nose clean. I don't like this stuff, and it's just one among many things to not like about college football. And I know a lot of people are just completely tuning out right now. They're going to watch it regardless. But for me, like, I'm less and less interested the more that this stuff comes out. It is absolutely disgusting that universities are, got these bags of money that they're throwing at these kids in wide open on guys that played high school. Just look, at some of our players. I ain't gonna name names, but you go to, prep schools and you're a fucking, man-child beating up on, young kids.
and you get these highlight reels and everybody talks you up. You know, you come to schools and then guess what? You ain't really as good as everybody thought you were. And here you've got $5 million walking around on campus, perhaps. Like, I talked about this, like, I want to say a year ago when all this stuff started falling. And I was like, what's the point of them even going to school? Eventually, we're just going to have academies that happen to call themselves universities where we're developing these kids. Now, this is not going to be the case everywhere, but top-notch football like the SEC and maybe like certain schools in the Big 12 and, you know, whatever else exists out there, the Big 10, there's going to be no point at having these kids go to school at all. They're not going to be walking around on campus, you know, with their Lamborghinis and whatnot. So it's just an absolute mess. And I don't know if you can put the genie back in the bottle. It might be just too far gone at this point. But I reminisce on the college football days when stuff actually mattered. And these kids just got a scholarship and, you know, the best of luck in the future. If you don't make it to the NFL, well, at least you got to play for the University of South Carolina. That meant something back in those days. Now these kids are getting millions of dollars. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And as you're talking about, you know, with expectations and stuff like that, just a couple of years ago, we would hear people talk bad about our players for one reason or another, just because they can't play well on the field. And we would say, man, look at this classless jackass talking bad about our players. This guy's one of us, right? And now if they're getting money, you don't have that filter anymore because they're getting paid to play. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So that's just old man Phil, 37 years old, wishing we were back in the good old days. But it is what it is, man. I ain't going to be watching as much as I used to. And it has to do with a lot of this bullshit. So that's how I feel about it.
Drop the mic, Phil. Well said. I appreciate it, my guy.
All right. Have a good
Good stuff. I mean, I think Phil, I know Phil from conversations we've had previously, whether it be on this show or off air. Phil and I, and again, many others have talked about things that make you like college football less. And, you know, I think Phil speaks for a lot of people. So, again, listen, I think as a player, I think as a school, if you want to pay that money, take that money, go ahead. I just think that you're going to find yourself making you're going to see a lot of bad business deals. And I think people are going to wake up at some point and say, what are we doing? Guys, we're going to jump into a quick break, but I want to continue to hear from you, more of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. By the way, I wanted to highlight a comment from a little bit earlier. Trying to get all your comments. We got a ton of them rolling in today. Andrew Horrell says, you're right. Even if I don't wear white, the white Beamer ball hat is fire. Yeah, folks, I appreciate the love, Andrew. This is available along with the black and garnet. We also dropped some new merch late last night. I have not posted it to social media yet, but I will be doing so a little bit later today. Our To Hell with Georgia merch is officially live over at tsus.store. The To Hell with Georgia merch is officially live, and it's on Comfort Colors Pocket Tees. It is on Comfort Colors Pocket Tees, folks. I'm going to just go ahead and show you. I'm going to go ahead and show you right now. Let's see. Here we go. Boom. Look at this. Check this out. We got Comfort Colors, and we got Comfort Colors Pocket Tees. We got THWG on the front, To Hell with Georgia on the back. Pretty simple, but you know that I love merchandise like this. Less is more. The shirt that you need for game day against the Dogs. If you want to be brave and rock black, we got black as well. Again, THWG, To Hell with Georgia. You got the TSUS logo on the back. Love to see it. And it's Comfort Colors. And the white's clean, too. The white pops. I might actually do white. I don't know yet. This is what I'll probably be rocking, though, for game day against Georgia. But, yeah, you guys check that out. tsus.store. tsus.store. Tyler Knoll says, Savell, he may be forward, but he's fair in my opinion. Oh, you must be responding to players that, I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about. Jeff Gullidge says, let's highlight this one real quick. Chris, I got to correct one comment you made. One player can make a difference. If Auburn hadn't given Scam Newton his bag of money and he went elsewhere, South Carolina would have won the SEC championship. You know, Jeff, okay, that's an investment that paid off. But most guys, Cam Newton, he's one guy. Everybody ain't Cam Newton. I mean, Jeff Gullidge, we paid J.D. Clowney to come to Carolina. Let's not pretend like we didn't. And that's fine. I'm glad we did. We didn't win a national title. I'm not saying do not throw the bag. You have to a degree, right? We all agree with that. You got to throw the bag. But throwing $10 million? That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Like, and I saw my dude Cody Gaskins commented, call me stupid, but I'd take a $30 million roster to win a national title. Cody, it's not a $30 million roster to win a national title. It's a $30 million roster to maybe win a national championship. Maybe. It's no guarantee. Texas A&M is not guaranteed to win a national title, Cody. They're not. It's not a guarantee. So I just don't think when you're in business, when you're in life, right, it's all about weighing risk, right? That, to me, that risk is not worth the potential reward. It's not a guarantee, you know? So, anyways, I trust in Beamer. I think he's going to bring in the best guys. I think he's going to bring in the guys we need to be successful. And so I don't think you've got to throw – I don't think you got to throw $10 million to a guy. I don't think you got to throw $10 million to individual players. I don't think you need to have $30 million bankrolls to have a good recruiting class. I just don't think so. And I think those are just bad business deals that are happening. So, again, I don't blame anybody involved. I don't blame any players. I don't even blame the guys. I mean, whatever. The guys who were throwing the money, more power to you. I don't think we should do it, though. I don't think we should do it. Just my personal opinion. Again, guys, you know what's funny? I did not expect NIL necessarily to be the lead topic of convo. It was something that kind of came up late. I more so thought my list that I dropped this morning was going to be the main topic of convo. And in case you missed it, my list, top 5 defensive backs in the history of South Carolina football. My top 5 looks like this. Number 5, Coach Simpson. Number 4, Stephon Gilmore. Number 3, Arturo Freeman. Number 2, DJ Swearinger. And number 1, Rashad Faison. And I knew this was going to be one that got a lot of feedback because we've had so many great DBs, right? So inevitably you're going to leave guys off. I mean, it's just impossible, right? You're going to leave guys off. I mean, you could make a list top 20 defensive backs and have enough players to fill it. So, and here we go. Jeff Gullidge says, why no Brad Edwards? You know, Jeff, I'll be honest with you. I mean, listen, I didn't get to watch Brad Edwards at all. I've seen his stats. I think he was a great player. There's some recency bias. Let me ask you this. Those who ask, okay, no, why no Brad Edwards? Connor McCormish, can you explain why JC isn't on the list? I would respond to you. These are great players. Here's another one. Travis says Jonathan Joseph and Sheldon Brown. Sheldon Brown was in my 5 spot last year. Who would you take off? My question to you is, who are you taking off? I'm not saying there isn't an argument for everybody you mentioned. Who are you taking off, though? I mean, maybe I could see, I think 5 is a very debatable spot because Coach Simpson only played 2 years, right? Connor, J.C. Horn, listen, I'll go into it. J.C. Horn, great cover guy at South Carolina. You know, when it comes to being an all-time great, there are other things that factor in outside of just statistics, right? Like a guy like DJ Swearinger being second on the list. Guys, he's second on the list not just because of his statistics. He's second on the list because he was the heart and soul of the Gamecocks defense, the best Gamecocks defenses in school history. That's why. Right? He has one of the most iconic plays in the history of the University of South Carolina. Right? A still image that will forever live on in Gamecocks history. Okay? So, you know, unfortunately, J.C. Horn's career, like many others that played during the time he was there, that played during the Muschamp era, his career is marred by the shortcomings of that era. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like and dance around the fact that him opting out his final season, that didn't help his case. I'm sorry, guys. Like when that happened and he had every right to do it, I said, you know what? Fans shouldn't be coming down on him. It's his decision. It's a business decision. I respect it. But the way his career is viewed, really hard to include him in the list of all-time legends at South Carolina. Sorry. That matters. That stuff matters. That stuff matters. It's when you're talking about an all-time list, all-time greats, guys that didn't just use South Carolina as a launching pad to the NFL, those are the guys that are going to be at the top. You know, there's more than statistics when it comes to all-time greats. And when you opt out, I'm sorry, it's really, I can't include you in that conversation. I can't include you in it. Great player, extremely talented, going to have a very long and successful NFL career. Not on my top 5 list. If he's on your top 5, that's fine. I don't think it's crazy, but not on my top 5 list. What's so hard about judging DBs is that it's almost like the less stats they have, the better in a way, because that means nobody's throwing at them, right? And their guy's never open. But, I mean, you want to see some statistics. J.C. Horn had 1 game in which he had a pick. It was 1. 1 game. I mean, that Auburn game certainly is the J.C. Horn game, but it's just tough. I mean, again, if you got J.C. in your top 5, I won't hate on you, but it's more so for me. It goes beyond stats. It's unfortunately, again, he played in an era that most Gamecock fans would rather forget happened. Most, I mean, that's the thing, guys. How many, I'm sure there's a lot of Gamecock man caves across the state of South Carolina, right? And in these man caves, you'll see pictures like DJ Swearinger standing over Andre Ellington. You'll see the hit Jadeveon Clowney. You'll see pictures of Alshon and Connor Shaw and Marcus Lattimore. How many signed Israel Mukwamu photos do you think are out there that are hanging in Gamecock man caves? How many even J.C. Horn pictures? How many Jake Bentley signed footballs are there? How many Javon Kinlaw signed photos are framed and hanging in a Gamecock man cave? And I'm not trying to say all that to like beat up on these guys, but it's just unfortunately these players, there's some players that played during that era that will be, I don't want to say forgotten, but they will not probably get the respect and attention maybe even they deserved because of the era in which they played. I mean, I think the only guys that I can really think of, and again, this isn't meant as a slight, it's just a fact. The only guys that are really looked upon favorably from that era are Deebo Samuel, Hayden Hurst, maybe like an Ernest Jones. I don't think JC's looked at negatively per se, but like, I'd say Deebo's the top one, right? Deebo's the top one. Hayden is up there. I guess Shi Smith, but I'm even Shi, like, Fenton. Yeah, okay, Fenton. But those guys, I mean, right, like, you think when Steve Spurrier first took over, like, again, we have so much admiration for guys that played on those first couple Spurrier teams. But most would rather just forget the Muschamp era even happened. Cody Gaskin says, I know A&M still has to go out and win the national title in order for that $30 million roster to pan out, but hell, even if you told me that $30 million roster gets me 10 to 11 wins a year and we start beating the Georgias. Cody, would you agree, though, that if you need a $30 million payroll to win 10 games, I don't think you have the right coach. I don't think you have the right coach in place. Like, is that really, Cody, do you really think that's what it takes? Do you really think you've got to pay $30 million to go win 10 games? I mean, there ain't no way. It ain't like 12 out of 14 SEC schools are doing that, and we're one of the ones that aren't. One school did that. One, just a single one that I guess we know of. Guys, NIL has not changed this fact. Bama's still going to recruit like Bama does. Georgia is still going to recruit like Georgia does. The elites are still going to recruit well. South Carolina has never been in contention for like 5-star after 5-star after 5-star after 5-star. We never have. Like, if NIL didn't exist, it's not like, Arch Manning would have went to Boise State. Like, Arch Manning was always going to go to a Georgia, a Texas, a Southern Cal, an Alabama, an elite. You know what I mean? Like, I know NIL's changed the game a good bit, but all NIL has done, right? It's like when people say, when people get rich, when people get money, they don't change. They don't change. They just become more of who they already are. Who they are becomes amplified on a greater level. So I don't know that NIL's really changed anything. It's just amplifying what's already been happening to a greater degree. Guys have always been getting the bag. They've always been getting paid. It's just more in your face now, but not a lot has changed. Not a ton has changed. And like I said earlier, you want to go through a high school kid $8 million, $9 million, $10 million. I'm looking at you, Tennessee. I'm looking at you, Miami. I'm looking at you, Florida. I'm looking at you, Southern Cal. You want to do that? Be my guest. Because I think you're fucking moronic. I think you're crazy. A complete clown show. You want to spend $30 million on a recruiting class? I'm looking at you, Texas A&M. I think you're absolutely off your rocker. And all it's going to take is a couple of those bad business deals falling through for folks to look around and go, what the fuck are we doing giving these 17-year-olds $10 million? we ain't getting the return on our investment. Because again, it already has, but it's going to go from, oh, that's so nice that Johnny picked my school, to, well, he better perform because I paid him $10 million. And if he don't, there's going to be hell to pay. Do you want that? Is that what you want? That's what it's turning into. Robbie Davis texts in, says, what's up, Chris? It's Robbie. I just want to say call of the day goes to Phil Harris. Yeah, Phil dropped the mic on it. I think we're going to have to clip that one. Phil dropped the mic on it, for sure. Let's see. Cody Gaskins commenting in the Big Cock Club Discord says, I know A&M still has to go out. Okay, so YouTube limited is, let's see, has to win 10 games to beat the Georgias, A&M's, Kentucky's, and Clemson's yearly, or at least swap every other year. Then sign me up. Those 11-win seasons were the best times of my life. I'd pay $30 million yearly to go back to that. Cody, you'd pay $30 million yearly because it ain't your $30 million. Like, you see what I'm saying? You'd gladly spend the $30 million. It ain't your $30 million. It ain't your $30 million, my guy. And I mean, I know my guy Cody would be shelling out whatever he can. In the world, I said something about the 30 million and the NIL hackers came in. I don't know what just happened. Anyways, I don't know if you guys heard I was reading off Cody Gaskins' comment. So Cody basically saying he'd take 10, 11 win seasons to beat Georgia, A&M, Kentucky, Clemson. 11 win seasons were the best time of his life. He'd pay the $30 million to get back to that. Again, I just say, Cody, if you need $30 million, you need a $30 million payroll to win. I don't think you're a very good coach. I think that's crazy, man. I think that's absolutely nuts. Let's see. Riley Ward texts in, says, best case scenario for football season, I think we surprise people and have a 9-4 year with a bowl win. Lose to Georgia, A&M, Kentucky, and Clemson. You know, guys, we're about to start talking. Believe it or not, today is literally, guys, a week from today is July 4th, correct? Correct. A week and a half from now, literally next week, next Wednesday, we'll start dropping predictions. Believe it or not, it's that time of year. Holy shit, we're there. We're there. We made it. We practically made it. We've got 2 more top 5 lists. Then we're going to take off for July 4th on Monday. And then Wednesday and Friday of next week, the 6th and the 8th, I will lock in my official predictions for the 2022 football season. And so my guy Riley says, best case scenario, he says, going 9-4 with a bowl win, losing to Georgia, A&M, Kentucky, and Clemson. I think what's so interesting about this season, and we'll talk about this a lot more next week. When you look at it, first 6 games of the year, you got 6 by week 6, which is interesting. I think the goal, obviously, in the first 6 has got to be 4-2. Because you look at the schedule, it's going to be, and I guess, let's see. Riley actually, okay, so he's got us beating Arkansas. It would be a very tough pill to swallow, right, to start 3-3. And I think you can still have a solid season if you start 3-3. You can. It's going to be a really, really tough pill to swallow, though. If you get to the bye week 3-3 and you're 0-3 in SEC play, and your only 3 wins are against Georgia State, SC State, and Charlotte, right? Because you're going to get to the bye week and feel like, who have we beaten? We've beaten no one. We've beaten who we were supposed to beat, and we've lost who we were supposed to lose to. Is that good enough? Right? Again, You can still win 7 games if you start 3-3. Very well so, because you've got Vandy in the second half. You got Florida in the second half. You got Mizzou in the second half. You got Tennessee in the second half. All winnable games, right? All winnable games. It's going to be tough, though, to get halfway through the year and feel like, who have we beaten? Who have we beaten? So I think taking down either Arkansas or Kentucky are big. Again, I will talk my most important game next week, and I think you guys have picked up on what game it's going to be. I think you guys have picked up on what game it's going to be. I was surprised. I'll say that I was a little bit surprised to see College Football News label the Arkansas game the most important game. Just because, again, guys, I look at it when I look at most important games, I say, can you lose this game and still have a good season? I think absolutely you can lose to Arkansas and still have a good year. Let me ask you guys this. Here's a great question. We might run this poll on Twitter. I might actually do this right now. I'm going to do it right now. Who would you rather see South Carolina beat this season? Arkansas or Kentucky? All right. Let's say the Gamecocks start 4-2. I would love to hear y'all's responses. And I just posted the poll to Twitter right now. If you want to go leave your feedback. Let's say the Gamecocks start 4-2. Who would you rather them beat? If you had to pick one, Arkansas or Kentucky? Because on one hand, I mean, dude, I'd love to see Georgia come to Willie B 2-0. I mean, dude, Willie B will be for a noon. It'll feel like a night game at noon, right? It will feel like a night game at noon if Carolina's 2-0. You might even get game day, like who knows, right? But it's just like that streak, that trend against Kentucky, man. They've beaten you 7 of 8. Can you imagine if it gets to 8 of 9? 8 of 9? That's got to stop. And I would say Kentucky as well. You don't play Arkansas every year. You play Kentucky every year, right? And when it comes to SEC East hierarchy, y'all can talk Georgia all you want and Tennessee all you want and Florida. If you ain't beating Kentucky, you don't have a seat at the grown-up table anymore. I'm sorry. You don't. You don't have a seat at that table anymore. You got to take care of business against the Cats, man. Because Gamecock fans scoff when they hear, when somebody even suggests Kentucky might be a better program than South Carolina. But guys, if you lose to them again, how can we even argue it? How can you argue it? You're not a better program than somebody that you've lost 8 of 9 to if you lose this year. You're not. You're not. You're not. You're just not, flat out. You're not. You're not. Stopping that trend against the Cats, I mean, I don't think I'm going to label Kentucky as the must-win game of the year, but it's right there. It's right there. You know, we can talk, we can give all the credit, we can tip the cap all we want, but at some point, guys, if this program's really going on an upward trajectory, you got to start beating Kentucky, man. I'm sorry. Like, you got to break through and beat Kentucky. You have to. You have to. I said this last year, and I'll say it again. Gamecock fans can live with a lot of shit. We can live with a lot of shit. We can put up with a lot of shit. Losing to Kentucky is not one of them. Our fan base does not react well to losing to Kentucky. I want to throw this comment up here. Cody Branch, he says, I don't know how beatable Tennessee is for South Carolina just because South Carolina has won 10 games against Tennessee all time while Tennessee has won 28. Kentucky's more winnable for South Carolina, in my opinion. Cody, Tennessee might be very good this year. But I just want to make the point, the reason that I highlighted your comment is because the overall record means nothing. what does Tennessee's success against South Gun in the 90s, what does it mean for the game that's about to be played in 2022? I mean, if we want to talk about record, look at the last decade of South Gun in Tennessee. I hear what you're saying, but that means nothing. That means nothing. Like, we do get so caught up in trends and statistics, but for the guys on the field, for this game this year, that stuff means nothing. That's fun stuff for like us to talk about, right? It's fun stuff for us to talk about, but it doesn't mean anything. Like, you're not making a pick. I don't think you're making a pick based off of, well, this is the overall record in 1997. Tennessee scorched Carolina. So, I mean, doesn't really matter. Just like I wouldn't pick Carolina because, well, Steve Spurrier beat the hell out of Tennessee. So, I think Shane Beamer's a lot like him. And no, I mean, how do you match up this year? Overall record don't mean a damn thing. Guys, we're going to jump into a quick break, but I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back taking your questions, your comments, and your calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. I want to say this, man. I've gotten some messages from some of you guys, and just about your love and admiration for the show and the way the show has positively impacted you guys. And I mean, again, I want to say thank you all. I express gratitude. I don't take for granted that the fact that we have the opportunity to talk sports every day and talk about our favorite team and you know and interact and engage and banter and all that good stuff. And you guys' words mean so much. You know what I mean? Means so much. And I was reflecting over the weekend just about business and life and content, just everything. You know what I'm saying? And looking back on my days in Charlotte and just from humble beginnings and without you guys, your love and support, man, you guys have rocked with everything. And, you know, we haven't always had all the answers. It hasn't always been perfect. We have technical issues. We have hackers. We have everything that can happen, right? Like but we've all gone through it together. So, and it's wild and it's crazy to get reminders, you know what I mean, from people when they reach out and say the way that the content, you know, has positively impacted their lives and, you know, what it means to them. It's, you know, I just don't take it for granted. You know, I don't think I think it's something really special and you guys have made it that way. So I really appreciate it, man. I really, really appreciate it. Let's see. Brennan M in the Big Cock Club Discord says, friendly reminder that Tennessee is 500 against Vanderbilt in the last decade. Ashley Greer, do you think Tanner was giving Kingston an ultimatum with his recent comments? I hope so. I mean, I think Tanner's comments, everybody understands the expectations here. Everybody understands the expectations. Everybody understands the standard. Everybody understands you got to win. You got to win, bottom line. You got to win. And of course, Ray Tanner gets that. I don't think Ray Tanner, guys, believe it or not, I know fans get pissy. They hate Ray Tanner now. I don't think Ray Tanner is very happy with what's going on either. I don't think he's happy either, guys. So, how Fox college football and Fox college football just put out who is the best transfer in college football this season, and they don't even have Spencer Rattler listed. How is that even possible? How is I don't know, man. I don't know. Crazy. Some of these lists are stupid. Joey says, going to a Gamecock game for the first time in 25 years this 2022 season, the Mizzou game. Joey, love to hear that, man. That's incredible. That's wild. Hey, be sure to stop by the the TSUS tailgate at Seawells, man. We'd love to see you. We'd love to see you, bro. We'd love to see you. We'll have a cold beverage with your name on it if you choose. So definitely, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. AJ Bowers, Best Gamecocks podcast, in it for a reason. Keep it up, Chris. AJ, appreciate you, my man. Appreciate your daily optimism, my guy. I think AJ said he's got the Gamecocks winning 10 games this year. Roy Gwynn says we've won 10 of the last 17 against Tennessee. Yeah. Make sure you keep the statistics correct. Cody Branch says, I understand that, but what I was getting at is it seems like there's a mental barrier for SC when they play Tennessee, just like when Tennessee plays Florida or Bama. Cody, I don't see that. I don't know. Call me crazy. I don't see some mental barrier. I don't see it at all. And that's not, I mean, again, what I like about Cody, he's a Tennessee guy, but he comes in here and and we have friendly banter, right? We have friendly banter. I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with it. Anyways, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Podcast did drop this morning, episode 667, talking top 5 defensive backs in Carolina football history. Also, of course, we talked the welcome homes over the weekend. C.J. Adams, 3-star wide receiver out of the state of Georgia, choosing the Gamecocks, 6'3", 210 pounds. People seem to be really high on this kid. So we'll see how he pans out, but a big body dude for sure, which you love to see. I'm a fan of the big bodied receivers, the Alshon type builds. Love to see that. Let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Luke RJ.
Luke RJ, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, Chris. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
I want to talk about what Phil was saying about NIL and what you've been saying. Phil may speak for a lot of people, and a lot of people may feel the same way that he does. But I want to remind everybody, but you're talking about a guy who would probably rather watch rugby than college football. And I don't have anything against rugby. I hope they win, every national championship there is with this new coach and everything. But do you love the game of football or not? And it's about the game for me. With these kids making money and stuff, I don't see the big deal about it as other people do. And I'll tell you why, because I don't think people understand where this money is coming from for these players getting $10 million. What I think is these people that are donating this money to get these recruits in there have already made their money in their lifetime. They're not donating this money to see their business blow up necessarily in all scenarios. So they're just saying, the coaches come to them like Jimbo Fisher, someone saying, you guys that love football, love our school, these people that multi-millionaires, you want to help us get to the top, then put some money up. They're not looking on a return of investment. They've already made all their money in their lifetime, in my opinion.
I mean, I would say, Luke RJ, the return on investment is winning games, right? That's the return on investment they're looking for at this point. Because, I don't totally disagree with you. I talked to Brad Lowing about this. A lot of it is just they're just making up bullshit LLCs to say, well, it's for this business. And like you said, it's a business that isn't even like really a business. So in a lot of instances, yes, that is correct. I would say the number one ROI is winning football games.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. They want to do whatever they can, and it was like Georgia last year. You talked about it. They had the best players from top to bottom. They were just so much more talented than everybody that stepped on the field at every position. They had 12 draft picks or something, and I think the COVID thing helped with giving them everybody an extra year. That helped a lot with Georgia having so many good players. But yeah, they're just saying, well, if that's what it takes to get the best recruiting class, these guys that have money, they're saying, well, all right, we'll see what happens, and they're willing to put the money up.
And that's, listen, you got the money, you want to throw it around, more power to you. I stick by what I said. If Shane Beamer, all due respect, because I love Coach Beamer, but if he came to whoever it would be, Ray Tanner, the Gamecock Club, Board of Trustee, I don't know, whoever, and just said, well, I need a $30 million payroll to recruit the team that I need to win a national title, I think we should laugh in his face. Like, you got to be joking. You got to be kidding. It's just insane, dude. It's insane to me. Like, I want to win. You want to win. But if you need $30 million to do it, maybe you're not the right guy. South Carolina wasn't pulling in a top 5 class when Steve Spurrier was the head coach, but they won a lot of ball games. Why is that? I don't even think with NIL, I don't know that Carolina will ever be in a position where they're bringing in 10 5-stars in a class. Maybe one day, but brands are still going to have the power. I mean, kids are still going to go to Georgia. They're still going to go to Bama. They're still going to go to Texas. They're still going to go to OU, Southern Cal, Michigan, Texas A&M, whatever. I don't know, man. And like I said, the kids get the money. Get the money, dude. You'd be crazy not to. Get the money. But I think it's a lot of bad business deals, man. Because, again, A&M's paying $30 million for a class to maybe win a national championship. There's no guarantee. They might. And then, like, you look at Miami, and it's even more ridiculous. Or look at Tennessee when it's like they're giving one player $8 million. What if he sucks? Because you just don't know. I mean, all the indications are there. He's going to be good. You know who else is supposed to be good? DJ Uiagalelei. 5-star. He's following in line for Trevor Lawrence. He's got all the intangibles. He's got the build. I mean, that's why you're still seeing DJ Uiagalelei get some love in this preseason. People are like, how can he have better Heisman odds than Spencer Rattler, for example? Well, because DJ Uiagalelei is supposed to be good. He's got the NFL body, NFL build, that makeup. He's supposed to be good, but he wasn't. So, I mean, I'm just saying there's no guarantee. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I guess if you're retired, you got $100 million laying around and you want to give a kid $10 million, I mean, by all means do it. I just don't think, I don't look at those schools with envy. I don't look at those schools and say, well, why isn't Ken Long shelling out $10 million? There are a lot of good players out there. There's a lot of players that can help us win football games that don't cost that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if there was one coach that could find those players, it's Shane Beamer.
Right. And I know money rules. I know money rules, the almighty dollar. I understand that. But when it comes to college football, I still, maybe I'm naive. I still do want to believe there are guys out there that value, they still are looking at things like playing time, culture, coaching staff, passion of a fan base, facilities, the university itself, right? They're still looking and valuing those things. They're still valuing those things. Because, again, great, get your money, but if you go somewhere and you suck, you're not going to be a very popular person for very long. Because, again, if you think fans are pissy right now when they don't play well, when guys don't play well, if you think Clemson fans, and I guess, heck, DJ was making the money, so maybe he's a good example. But, if you think college football fans are ruthless on social media and ruthless right now, wait until guys are making $7, $8, $9 million a year and they're not performing. I mean, it's going to be even worse because then it's like, again, you're no longer an amateur. Let's just get rid of that narrative. You are basically a paid professional. You're only going to school to be eligible. That's it. That's the only reason you're going, for some guys. So I don't know. I don't believe in making bad business deals just to win an extra game or two every year. I just don't believe in it. So I think, like you said, Shane Beamer can go out and recruit and build. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. And 5 years from now, we'll look at Texas A&M. We might look at A&M as like the model of, well, we have to do this. Maybe we will. But I still think you can go out and recruit a 20th ranked class and develop guys and have a system and have a scheme. And you can go win. And you can go win at a high level. And I still think you can build in recruiting in the sense of, you recruit the best you can, you win the most you can, and you hope that you're developing and you hope that you're putting guys in position to be successful. The transfer portal has changed a lot of things. Look at us with Rattler. You go win 8 games this year, you start to attract even better players because they're starting to see you're getting really close to being really, really good, and you're selling things like culture, you're selling things like your fan base, your facilities, you're selling everything that makes USC what it is, and you start stacking some more good players and some more good players and some more good players, and all of a sudden you are back to winning 10, 11 games, and you didn't have to spend $30 million to go get them. You didn't have to.
Yeah.
That's the way I'd do it. But it's this, we must win now, and we must win big. That's really what it comes down to. It's this win by any means necessary, win immediately. Coaches don't get 5 years to build a program anymore. If you're not winning by year 3, get out. That's how fans feel. A lot of them.
Yeah,
So,
and Shane Beamer's going to do that. But I think what a lot of people do is they look at the surface. So they hear about one person making $10 million, or they hear about Texas A&M, one school that paid $30 million for their whole recruiting class. And everybody thinks that all these players are going to every school just because of the money. And I don't think that's the case. You're talking about like 5%, maybe, whatever it is, the top players, or maybe some of the other players that, are just looking to pick a good school, but get whatever they can just because, it matters. It could, change, with money and everything. But
yeah.
There was another thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
There was another thing I wanted to talk about. I want to try to stay on topic of why I called, because let's talk about that list. I really do think that you got the number 1 DB at South Carolina correct. Rashad Faison. I remember, watching him in Williams-Brice, and I literally remember like him having 11 solo tackles in a row. And every single play, it was Rashad Faison on the tackle, I just feel that player right there, man, his angles, like the way he tracked down the ball, man, he was a sure tackler, and the amount of tackles that he, accumulated over his career is insane. I mean, I'm telling you, that player, nobody broke a tackle on him. You know what I'm saying? And I have this feeling about if if any dad out there wants to teach their son how to play football, people, you need to get them in the upper deck between the 35-yard lines in the middle of the field, and just take them to every football game, every college home football game that you can, because that's how I learned how to play the game. It's, people think, maybe the end zone is better for like reading the defense and, everything like that. Or, I want to be up close with the players and everything like that and be around the team and stuff. But if you want to learn the game of football, be in the upper deck or high enough to where you can see the whole field and just watch these players play. Because that's how I learned. And Rashad Faison was unbelievable, man. Like 11 solo tackles in a row every time. Rashad Faison on the tackle. So I wanted to, express that I feel like you got that one right so much, and that player was so good.
Yeah, Luke RJ, I appreciate that. 247 solo tackles in his career, a school record, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, I've talked to people that said he's regarded as maybe the greatest tackler in South Carolina football history. So, yeah, to your point, he if you want to learn how to tackle, I think probably watching his film would be a good idea.
Yeah, just like pursuit angles and how to get to the ball, getting through blockers. It's amazing watching. Sheldon, he should have, he had a really good NFL career, and he played a lot in the, did well at South Carolina. And there's that number 1 was good, man. So
yeah, I had, it's funny. I had Sheldon at number 5 last year, and I switched him out for Co Simpson this year. I mean, it's with that list, it's you're going to leave somebody off. I mean, it's just impossible. Maybe I let some of my recency bias throw Co up there. Again, I had Sheldon at 5 last year, and I kind of went back and forth on those two guys. But we've been blessed with a lot of great defensive backs. So and I for the sake of the list, right, I grouped corners and safeties. It's probably a list that should be broken apart because there's been just so many greats of those individual positions. But for the sake of the list, and the month of June is only so long, and I wanted to condense it. So, that's what we came up with. But Sheldon Brown was a fantastic football player. Fantastic football player. So,
yeah. Well, this NIL stuff, man, it's not as bad as people think it is, man. I understand that, hearing these kids that, they may not go to school or they don't even need to go to school, but it is what it is, and it's football, man. You're gonna watch the games, you're gonna pay attention to what happens, and if you love the game of football, you love your school, you're gonna watch. And if you don't, then you're gonna come up with a reason not to watch it. But I'll be watching. You know what I'm saying?
The example I used earlier, Luke RJ, it's just like, when people come into money, when people, accumulate a large sum of money at one time, money doesn't change people. It just makes them more of who they already were. I don't think NIL's changed college football that much. It's just made college football more of what it already was behind closed doors. Now it's just in your face. And yes, maybe the numbers are more absurd, but who knows? The numbers might have been absurd before and we just didn't know. You know what I mean? So it's just, this is something that has forever happened in college football, but because it was quote unquote illegal and it was brushed under the rug and nobody talked about it, it was, okay. But now it's in your face and you can't run from it. You can't deny it. You can't hide from it. It's there. And that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. And I understand it, but that's, I don't think this is like, oh my God, all of a sudden now guys are getting paid. Like, I mean, this has always been a thing. It's always been a thing. So.
I've heard everybody's going crazy about what Clemson's doing or whatever, but they've already been established for a couple years as being a top program.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to look at what everybody else is doing. Do you believe in Beamer or not? Are you excited about what he's doing or not? Do you think he can get these players that are going to turn into these 3-stars that are going to turn into, NFL players or not? And you believe what he's doing, or are you worried about what everybody else is doing? Because I believe in Beamer, and I think he knows what to do. Even with NIL, he's not gonna ask for all this money and stuff. And when we show up and we put a good record out this year, better than 7-6, people are gonna start to notice again, and they're gonna be talking about us again. And then the next year, the next recruiting class, after 2023 does good, we're gonna get those next level of talented prospects. And then it just keeps building. But Clemson's been doing this, they've been winning 10 games or whatever. So I would tell people, don't worry about what Clemson's doing. We got a better coach. We got, he knows what he's going to do. And he's a better coach for us. And, we're South Carolina's going to be fine, man.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, you got to trust in Beamer, like you said, man. And I mean, I know people don't like to face this fact head on, but Clemson's been recruiting the way they've been recruiting for a decade. You know what I mean? They've been building their program. Let's let Beamer build, and maybe I think in 5 years, 6, 7, whatever, we're gonna be very happy. But patience, right? Patience. College football fans are like bad doctors; neither have patience. So. Exert some patience, let Beamer build, trust in him. Like you said, you're paying him that money and you have him in that head coach role for a reason. I think if you do that, we'll be all right.
All right, Chris, man. Talk to you later.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Luke RJ. Good stuff. Great stuff, man. Luke RJ, I tell you, I let Luke RJ, we have long discussion with Luke RJ, but the reason is it's always a fantastic conversation. Luke RJ brings the heat, man. I appreciate you, Luke. Really, really good stuff. Let's see. I see my guy Travis Lee says pup alert. Did he post something? My guy? You making me think he did. Let's see. I mean, I follow him on social media. I'll just go look. Oh, okay. I seen 1430. So I would assume. Yeah. Assume this means Pup Howard's going to drop his commitment at 2:30. So Cool. That'd be a big pickup. That'd be a really big pickup. So we'll see what happens. Guys, we're going to jump into one final break, but I want to continue to hear from you more of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side of the break. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. Final 5 minutes or so. Yeah, Pup Howard committing at 2:30. 2:30 just announced on his Twitter. He will be committing. I think we all are expecting that will be a Gamecock. At least we're hoping. That's the rumor. Fingers crossed. Don't want to jinx anything. But, yeah. So, really excited to see that. It'd be a great pickup. Pup Howard would be a great pickup. Be a great, great pickup. Again, guys, I want to express my gratitude and say thank you to you all. Say thank you to you all, man, for the continued love and support. It's interesting when you live your life and you operate right on social media, right? It's a balancing act because you want to be as engaging and as open and available to the masses as possible, right? Because those who support you and want to have friendly banter and conversation, and you want to have an open means of communication, and it can be a very, 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 very beneficial thing, right? But I think also what can happen, it's very easy for it to happen, is you start to take in some of the negativity you see, and whether you say it impacts you or not, it's something that can linger in the back of your head and can linger in your mind. And I've fallen victim to that. I've fallen victim of that here and there, and you guys probably don't notice it. And I don't think it was anything drastic, but there would be times where I would notice I was allowing outside noise and the opinions of other people to affect my decision making in the way in which I was living my life and what I was doing, where I was going, how I was moving. And this past weekend was really good for me in regards to, and I'm not going to go into details, but just getting out of the city and just seeing some different things and the experience I had over the weekend. And I'm happy to say that again. I I value the feedback. I value feedback from those that rock with us, that support us, man, that have our best interest in mind. But outside of that, I mean, I value the feedback and opinions of those, but my inner circle, I got 2 best friends. I've got some people that are really close to me. Of course, my family, God. That's really the only feedback I care about, man. You know what I mean? And I think I got caught up into listening to a little bit too much of the outside noise. And I know I'm just sort of going off on some random rant, but be careful. You know what I mean? On social media, be careful whose feedback you put value and stock in, right? Because really all that matters are the people that, like, the people we got right here, the people that rock with us. The other people don't matter. You know what I mean? And you can get so caught up, right? Like it's human nature. We can post in it. Let's just say on your personal Instagram, you post a picture. It's of you're at the beach or something, or you just wherever you are. You get 100 positive comments. You get 1 negative comment, and you put 90% of your attention on that negative comment. You don't even think about the positive comments. It's that negative comment that lingers. And again, I have done that. I've done that, certainly. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you not put all of your energy and emotion and all of that into those that rock with you? You know, those who rock with us, hell yeah, let's go. Let's get it. Those who don't, they don't matter. They really don't matter. You know what I mean? They really don't matter. Joey Guyton, I appreciate you tuning in, my guy. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Ryan Cawthorn, appreciate the love. Yeah, I mean, like I said, guys, I know that's kind of sort of a random rant, but just something that's been on my mind, and we had 5 minutes left. I figured, why not? So I mean, I allowed the outside noise to just linger in my headspace. No more, man. I'm gonna be true to myself, true to TSUS. What we've built, how we operate, and continue to try to grow and evolve and get better. And I don't have to pretend to be a perfect human being for you guys, or pretend to be some perfect person with all the answers, but I will always keep it real with you. Keep it a buck, man. Whether it be sport, whether it be life, whether it be content, whether it be business, anything. So, and I know y'all rock with that and resonate with that, and I appreciate it. Guys, we've hit 2 o'clock. Thank y'all so much. Again, stay tuned. Our guy Pup Howard dropping his commitment at 2:30. Excuse me. It's 2 o'clock right now. He's dropping his commitment at 2:30. I think we might be getting some good news. So other than that, guys, hey, check out the podcast that dropped this morning. Stay tuned. All the content this week, content bleeding out of the eyeballs. We're back at Tin Roof on Wednesday as well. A lot of exciting stuff happening this week. Folks, appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great rest of your Monday, and we will talk to you tomorrow.